Welcome to Quiz for All channel. In this quiz, you'll step into the Middle Ages. 40 questions about castles, kings, battles, and more await you. Test yourself, have fun, and good luck. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss any new quizzes. Thanks. The medieval period started with the fall of which major European city? The medieval period started with the fall of Rome in 476 AD. Who quickly became the dominant power in Europe when the medieval age began in the 5th century? The Catholic Church quickly became the dominant power in Europe. To obtain money, the Church initiated a tithe, that was how much of someone's income. The Catholic Church established a tithe of 10% to separate its income from the taxes levied by kings in individual kingdoms. What name was given to the Eastern Empire that survived after the fall of the Western Roman Empire? The Byzantine Empire was the eastern part of the Roman Empire that continued to exist after the fall of the West. The plague that devastated Europe was often referred to as the Black Death was the name given to the plague that devastated Europe in the 14th century. What proportion of the English population is estimated to have been killed by the Black Death? About 1/3 of England's population died due to the Black Death. To keep themselves in line, knights were responsible for following which code of honor? Knights followed the code of chivalry, which dictated their conduct both in battle and in daily life. True or false, much of Germany was Christianized by missionaries from the British Isles. True. Much of Germany was Christianized by missionaries from the British Isles, particularly Irish and Anglo-Saxon monks, such as Saint Boniface, who played a key role in spreading Christianity. Where did the Pope spend much of the 14th century? During much of the 14th century, the popes resided in Avignon instead of Rome. Which international event was started by Pope Urban II's sermon at Clermont in 1095? The First Crusade began after Pope Urban II's sermon at Clermont in 1095. Which 12th century historian wrote the first detailed account of King Arthur? Geoffrey of Monmouth shaped the King Arthur legend. Which was the last country in Europe to convert officially to Christianity in 1387? Lithuania was the last European country to officially convert to Christianity in 1387. Only one of the following was an essential part of the marriage ceremony in the Middle Ages. Which one? Exchange of words of consent by the couple. Which English king rebuilt Westminster Abbey in the 13th century? Henry III rebuilt Westminster Abbey in the 13th century. Which system structured medieval society into different classes? The feudal system structured medieval society with kings, nobles, knights, and peasants each having specific roles. What was the main purpose of a medieval castle? The main purpose of a medieval castle was defense and protection. Which battle in 1066 changed the course of English history? The Battle of Hastings in 1066 led to William the Conqueror becoming the King of England. What was the primary language of scholars in medieval Europe? Latin was the primary language of scholars, the church, and legal documents in medieval Europe. Which document, signed in 1215, limited the power of the English king? The Magna Carta restricted the king's power and established certain legal rights. True or false? Muslims controlled Jerusalem before the Crusades and after the last Crusades. True. Muslims controlled Jerusalem before the Crusades began and regained control after the last crusade, with the city remaining under Muslim rule for centuries. You've made it to the halfway point. If you're liking the quiz, give that like button a click. Thanks. What was the primary cause of the 100 Years' War? The primary cause of the 100 Years' War was the claim of English kings to the French throne. Which of the following was not a medieval siege weapon? The crossbow was not a medieval siege weapon. What was the Reconquista? The Reconquista was the Christian effort to reclaim the Iberian Peninsula from Muslim rule. It lasted for centuries and ended in 1492 with the fall of Granada. Which famous medieval queen ruled both France and England? Eleanor of Aquitaine ruled both France and England. This cathedral, built in the medieval era, is one of the most iconic landmarks. What is its name? The name of this cathedral is Notre Dame, located in Paris, France. Built during the medieval period, this palace is a masterpiece of Islamic architecture. Can you name it? This is the Alhambra, a palace and fortress complex in Granada, Spain. Which of these artists did not create works in the Middle Ages but in the Renaissance? Leonardo da Vinci was a Renaissance artist. What were books in the Middle Ages bound with? Books were typically bound with leather. In the Middle Ages, a famous knightly legend was born about the quest for which sacred artifact? The legend is about the quest for the Holy Grail. Leif Erikson is believed to have been the first European to set foot in North America, long before Columbus. What country was he from? Leif Erikson was from Iceland, though he had Norwegian heritage. Who was the leader of the Mongol Empire during the 13th century? Genghis Khan led the Mongol Empire, uniting nomadic tribes and building a vast empire. What was the name of the famous medieval knight who founded the Knights Templar? Hugues de Payens was the founder and first Grand Master of the Knights Templar. A young nobleman acting as a knight's attendant before becoming a knight himself was called. A squire was a knight's apprentice, training in combat and chivalry. Who led the Scottish to victory at the Battle of Stirling Bridge in 1297? William Wallace led the Scots to victory at Stirling Bridge against the English. The 100 Years' War between England and France began in 1337. What year did it end? The war ended in 1453. There are the last 5 questions ahead of you. I hope you like the quiz. Good luck! Which medieval trade route connected Europe to China? The Silk Road was the trade route that connected Europe to China. Which of the following modern countries was not once part of the Roman Empire? South Africa was never part of the Roman Empire. Which of the following was not invented in medieval Europe? The rifle was not invented in medieval Europe. True or false, the Normans spoke German. False. The Normans spoke Old French, which was a Latin-based language, not German. The Moors were Muslim warriors from North Africa. Enjoyed the quiz? Subscribe for more challenges. Check out these videos next.